Okay, so you both have mentioned the process of setting expectations in the sales process, and then after the fact, once things are live. One of the things that we frequently hear, especially from local business customers, is why don't I see my ads? And we all giggle at that because it's funny to us as insiders, but for someone experiencing it, walk through break that question down, what it means, and then like how you would respond to it from a client perspective. Nick, go first.
So why don't I see my ads? I usually, and I'm a bit of a smart ass, as people know. I'm a cynic to a point. So when somebody asks me that question, I ask them, why don't you spend $20,000 a month? Like, so if they got a minimal budget and they're asking, why don't I see my ads, and we're only running at a specific time and trying to get the cheapest click possible, and our search impression share is 25%, then my first question out of the gate is, why not spend $20,000 a month? And maybe you'll see your ads 9 times out of 10, because it's an auction. Because you can't dictate what Google's going to show and what they're not going to show. Because at first we'll start out as a joke when they ask that question, like, how come I don't see my ads? We're like, well, because you don't have unlimited budget, right? Because if you want to cover everything, and we have clients that will come back and try to do that, because you have that vanity of, I want to have my ad show up every time. Yep. Because it's not fiscally responsible to do so, is what we tell them. That's not smart money to do that.
Right.
But then we explain to them, hey, it's an auction. Google does what they want to do with that auction. They place you where they place you. You can have a 98% search impression sharing. You might not see your ad at some point on that, but at the same time, it could be because of what your avatar is on Google. When you're signed into Google, what you're searching for, Google might know that they don't want to show you that because of what your search history is and what you're looking for. There's a ton of different factors that go into it. We usually use a smart ass approach to it and saying, well, how come you don't have if you had an unlimited budget, I might be able to get you 9 times out of 10. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's a common question. It's typically people that are uninformed on what Google Ads is and isn't, because they're used to seeing their ad on Facebook, right? When they put stuff up in there, because Facebook, if you're doing a remarketing, retargeting ad, then yeah, you're going to be able to see that ad because Facebook wants to burn your cash as fast as possible. Yep. So yeah, that's how we typically approach it. You can try to make light of it and let them know this is this, but then you will get that one unique individual that wants to spend unlimited money. I don't know if they're trying to impress a girl or make their mom proud or what they're trying to do, but they just have to have their ad up on top. And we've burnt cash doing it. I don't love it, but we'll say, well, we can get you up there 9 out of 10 or 8 out of 10 times. So it's not smart money to do that.
Yep. How about you, Mark?
I try to answer it with like a 2-sentence response. There's a variety of reasons that you might not see your ad based on budget, settings, algorithm, your search profile. Our focus is 100% on driving the most conversions, with the available data that we have in order to bring you more leads and blah, blah, blah. Something like that. I just try to sort of gloss over the whole thing, because I've tried to, there's no point in really explaining it. Right. Honestly, I should put together a video of myself explaining it and then just send them the video.
Do it. We have one. It works, guys.
Yeah, it's a great FAQ, isn't it?
Well, the way we kind of describe it is kind of a mixture of everything you guys just said, and then we're also layering on top of that, listen, you're likely doing this in the first couple of days that a campaign's live because you want to see what the ad copy looks like, but know that you're not going to waste money by clicking on your own ad. And by doing that, you're actually lowering your CTR, your click-through rate. You're actually hurting your campaign performance, especially with a brand new campaign. So
good.
You're really shooting yourself in the foot. Yeah. So like that. And then at a certain point, Google's going to stop serving you ads. If you keep seeing the same ads and you're not clicking them, Google's going to go, that's not a buyer, I'm out, and stop serving them. So a mixture of everything you guys just said is kind of what we tell them as well. But I think kind of just cutting that off out of the gate if you can, or for us at least, we found it to be effective because it's just one less thing a potential customer is going to email in with questions about. So, something we've learned from Josh Nelson in that ultimate onboarding process is like, what can we educate them on that we know questions coming down the pipeline ahead of time before it becomes an issue, or
That's a good point.
it might be an issue, it might just be something they're curious about, but if we could just eliminate, that's kind of what our thinking is on it.
Now, when you get that question still, do you just forward the link to the video?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll typically go like, there's a bunch of reasons for it. Here's the
Watch
Google
this.
report link that explains it. But if you want a more in-depth explanation, check this video out, and we send something like that off.
Nice.
We find that helps. We have that with that. We've got a video, I believe, on CallRail spam calls. So if you're using Mark, you use What Converts. Nick, you're using call tracking metrics, right?
Yep.
So those numbers have all been in use by other companies at some point in the past. So sometimes you'll get direct dials to those companies or spam calls, and customers think that they're paying for those, and you have to catch it early enough, because like, let's say they're on a robo-dial spam list, and all of a sudden they get 6 spam calls in a day. The customer panics because they think they just spent $200 on that.
Right.
If you can beat them to the punch on that and explain that earlier, we find that to be helpful in the process, because spam calls are a thing.